Hi there, and welcome to this video which explains the Theta 2 and Theta 3 engines, which are very complex and very complicated. So these descriptions that you find in this playlist will help you understand how these systems work. The Theta 2 year range was from 2011 to 2019, and the Theta 3 year range is from 2020 to present. Although the Theta 2 engine has garnered much bad publicity over the time, thousands of these Theta 2 engines with very high mileage, 250K for example. A lot of it doesn't have to do with the engine itself. It has to do with how the engine is maintained. Sure, I'm sure there's some defective factory situations for dirt in the oil passages, things of that. But in general, these engines seem to have held up quite well despite all the bad publicity. The vehicle that's chosen to create all this information is the 2023 Sonata 2.5 liter Theta 3 engine. I have driven this vehicle for about 60,000 miles during the last 3 years, and it consistently gets me 37 to 39 miles per gallon driving at interstate highway speeds, and it consistently gets 34 to 36 miles per gallon driving around town. The reason the range is because I found that the different amounts of ethanol in the gas really affects the mileage in this vehicle because it's metered so accurately. So the alcohol has less BTUs per gallon than the gasoline, and therefore the mileage changes based on how much alcohol is in the gasoline. I have come to understand over the last 30 days how this engine works. This was accomplished through various scan tool OEM data captures and various waveform captures. What I decided was this system has to be divided into two different playlists. The first playlist explains how the system works. The second playlist will have reference waveforms, very detailed reference waveforms that are quite accurate for this complex engine. What I have learned over the past 30 days is that the creation of accurate reference waveforms for this vehicle requires monitoring of scan data also. For example, the engine coolant temperature, the engine timing, ignition timing, the intake valve set point at actual position, and the exhaust valve set point in actual position. All this data has to be gathered while you're taking the waveforms to have a known good reference, for example, at idle RPM. The good news here is that although I needed an OEM capable scanner to collect this data, you can get by just using an OBD scanner to collect the ignition timing and the coolant temperature, and then you can use these waveforms as a precise reference waveform. I have also discovered over the past 30 days that the OEM service manual has some major errors in it. For example, the OEM service manual has a chart which shows that the intake camshaft is only advanced during low RPM, high load situations, when in fact I've proven that the engine does intake valve cam timing advance during high RPMs and heavy load. So there are some errors in the service manual, and I'll point them out when I run across them. So in closing, this YouTube channel has two playlists. The first playlist will be how the engine works, and the second playlist will be true and factual reference waveforms that you can count on. And that concludes this video.